My good guy, Jonah Wilson, the man of philosophies himself. How you doing today, black man?
Hey, just living in the skin up, man. How about yourself?
I gotta say, I'm doing very much the same thing, man. I'm trying to stay in the real state of mind. I'm trying to steal your ideas in terms of. I remember you stated that this story you're gonna share later on, but in terms of like just going through obstacles and hurdles, I'm trying to apply that same thing because shit is good, but it's also crazy for me now. But that's all relevant to the success rate. You feel me?
Yeah. How long have you been in real estate?
Man, I would venture to say all my life, man. It's kind of in my blood. My father did it. I watched my father do it. I became a realtor in 2010, and then 2013 I started wholesaling. I stopped doing the realtor thing. I fell flat on my face. I went back to 9 to 5, hated it. Then said, you know what? I'm gonna try it again, and I started doing very, very good. Then I went to the flips. I did good. Then fell on my face again. Then fell, kind of came back. Then I went to lending and borrowing, kind of the same concept. I always fail first, and then I learn from my failure, and then I kind of explode. So what I'm trying to do now these days is just keep the failures to an extreme minimum with all of the experience I got and use it as leverage. Hence why we're on the Learn and Leverage podcast, Mr. Jonah.
Yes, and I'm a full believer in failure. A lot of people are scared to fail, but that's what makes the mark of a champion. I can write a blues record off my failures, but I wouldn't be half the person I am without them. So failures are lessons given by the gods, if you ask me.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
I would just say, what do you feel like? Do you feel like it's easier or harder well, I think it's a nonchalant question, but in your opinion, you feel like it's easier or harder to fail in front of I would say in front of the masses per se? So like when you fall, you're Michael Jackson on stage and you trip and fall, everybody laughs. You see what I'm saying? You either get up and still dance or you just run away off the stage. It's kind of what I'm saying.
Well, the first thing I want to know is why the fuck everybody come to watch me fail? So then I'll be, I really wouldn't give a fuck if I did fail at that point. Then I would probably tell them to go kiss my ass as I'm winning. But if they're going to gain from me failing, they need to pay me. So whether I fail or not in front of myself or others, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what people think about me. I've tried caring. I've actually spent the last 4 years caring, and it got me nothing but horror stories because feelings don't pay bills. So
they do not pay bills. Only action taken.
That's right. And after failure comes experience. So I would ask them why they not on stage failing with me.
God damn, Jonah, you must have had some good coffee today, brother. You sharp?
But now I just got tired of not being myself, to be honest with you. And then I had to sit down with I had the privilege of sitting in on a conversation with a billionaire, and I found that it's the billionaire's mentality that I adapt to. The Donald Trumps, the people who really don't give a fuck. My father was a black millionaire in the 80s, and people love him and respect him. But on a personal level, oh man, that was the most scariest person to be around, especially if he was your boss. There is nothing nice about the character of a man who runs a business.
You know what's crazy about you saying that, bro? And I wasn't even going to bring in no personal family stuff on my end because we already spoke about me and my life on your platform, so I didn't want to say this, but my father is like I said, I was telling my blood. He's a realtor. He's a landlord. He's his own boss, and exactly what you're stating, he's that. He's a Haitian man that just does what he wants. Nobody can tell him what to do, and nobody fucks with that man. So what you're saying is like it's touching my soul. Bro.
Yeah. In my day, you couldn't approach a millionaire. You get your ass shot. You could not walk up to a millionaire because he already think you're trying to kill him. I don't know what they did in their past, but these men these days don't stand a chance. My father came home from the war, and the white man took his ice cream and stuck it on his nose. And this is in Tallahassee. This is in Florida, Tampa, Florida. So when you have that type of DNA, where you go out and fight for your country only to be come back and treated like shit, it does something to your character. There's no room for playing. There's no room.
Man, listen. So let me
our
ask
joy is business, That's our joy. And the Wilson family, our recreation is business. We don't like wasting time. We were funeral directors. Yeah, we're close to 100 years in the funeral business. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're funeral directors. I've been around dead bodies my whole life. But we failed the lack of education on real estate, and my father invested in another funeral home and took a loan out on his home and lost a $500,000 home behind 100,000. And that's what pushed me to real estate.
Man, I'm gonna bring all of this back up. I'm just gonna do it in segments because I want anybody that happens to come across this video to sincerely have or understand the knowledge they're getting from you in terms of experience and how you're leveraging it. So first things first, how did you, just for the people listening, how did you get started in real estate and what piqued your interest? Start from day one of your interest.
Very, very, very similar to you. Very similar in a lot of ways. However, my father would find vacant banks and convert them into funeral homes. And a financial group paid him to do this. We opened several funeral homes in the Dallas area. Now, I watched my father do that, but I wasn't looking at that part. But for some reason, I remember it. I was looking at the funeral business. But when I was 21, I got tired of funeral homes. And I ventured out. I got us in trouble. I went to prison, got out. And I started in the street game. I was a player. I had escorts. I was that part. I wasn't a drug dealer in the street. I know people glorify being a drug dealer converting over to real estate, but I was a pimp. You're not going to hear too many people say I used to be a pimp and convert over to real estate. But my analogy was, instead of putting these females on the street and on the internet, I'm going to put some houses on the internet, because the house is not going to talk back. The house is not going to go find another guy to give her money to. So I was tired of pimping while I was pimping. And I started, and I paid for, while I was in Atlanta pimping, I paid for real estate school in Marietta, Georgia, passed. And then I was going to take the state exam, and I had a warrant out for my arrest. And I said I didn't want to chance that shit. So then I went back to Dallas, and I started fooling around in Dallas with the vacant houses and the tax liens. Uneducated, just trying, only experience. And then we had 3 deaths in the family. My nephew got shot over a drug deal. He lost his life. Then my father died shortly after that. And then my sister, my nephew's mother, she died of depression 12 months to the day after his death. So I came out here to the one of my ex escorts. She lived out here in this wooded area in West Virginia. Yeah, it's a bunch of hookers. That's all they do out here. I came out here. It's easy living. Houses are going for $1,000 to $7,000 on average, and you can get $500 a month in rent out of them. You might have to put $5,000 into them. These people are not looking for a fancy house. You can pretty much get a house and just clean it up and someone to come in. So I started utilizing the area I was in. Now, of course, I did go to YouTube University with I was under the illusion of wholesaling and all that. But while on Facebook and doing these things, I was, no disrespect towards you or anybody else that do wholesaling, but back in 2016, around that time, wholesaling was real hot, still hot, and it wasn't no clarification. When I was on Facebook, a guy in Florida named Vincent Polisi, I got a lot of respect for the man, but he's a shrewd son of a bitch just like me, so we have our problems. But Vincent Polisi, he taught me about his strategies. He actually sat down with me on the phone several times. We bonded a little bit because he had such a shrewd mentality. People are too soft, but it was perfect. It was like talking to my dad again. So I bonded with this man.
I understand that wholeheartedly. I get that.
Huh? Yeah,
I get that wholeheartedly because I'm an asshole too. And when I come across like another aggressive person, man or female,
fuck him. They're too weak. Fuck him. Fuck him. Don't weaken yourself to talk to that pussy. He needs to tighten up. What if we go to war right now and you got all these soft, fucking tight jean twerking motherfuckers? Russia will kill us, man. Russia will fucking kill us, man. Sometimes we forget what being a man is, all because we want to fit in, you know?
No, and social media took that fit in thing and took it somewhere else, man.
Man, so, I said it earlier. I said in my day, at recess, we go out and fight. That's what we did at school. And I was 5, 6, 7, 8. This is elementary. And whoever won the fight got the pretty girl in class. That's how I was raised. That was the school I went to in the 80s in Texas. Nowadays, if you call somebody a pansy, they're either gonna come shoot the school up or kill themselves. What the fuck? So,
question: you grew up in Texas, right? Just for the listeners, right?
Oak Cliff, baby. Oak Cliff.
All right. Now, you know, I'm from Jersey. I've always wanted to go. I actually have I have a wholesale that I'm working on in Houston, but it's nowhere near close. But it's hotter than it is cold. I'll say that much. But what I'm saying is, quick question, because you said a lot that I want to touch on, man. First things first, I gotta ask: in Houston, is that where you pimped, or was it in Atlanta?
Oh,
Where
I
were you
was an
pimping the hoes,
international
man?
pimp.
Whoa,
I
slow down.
was
You
going
are an
in.
international pimp.
No, I was
International pimp.
going in. No, I was going international. I was a cross country PI. I started on Harry Hines, and when I got out of prison, 2002, I started on Harry Hines. And a girl like me, she was a well-known prostitute, and she's the one who pulled me into the game stronger. And when the other pimps seen that this girl liked me and driving me around, they started trying to take her from me, and then she took me all the way to DC. And that's where I met this girl, my daughter's mom, up here. I know she's gonna be mad, but yeah, I met my daughter's mom up here where I am now, and it was her mom. We went to 33 states, a whole bunch of different women, and then I had it set up in Vegas in 2004. I stayed in Vegas 6 years, man. I went to Vegas for a weekend. I made so much money that weekend I didn't want to leave, and I made
You
it my
gotta tell
home.
me how much money. You gotta tell me how much money that weekend.
Oh.
The
Let's
statute
just
of
say
limitations is over
okay.
now, man.
I'll give you this. I'll give you this. In Dallas at that time, and it might not sound good, but I was averaging $400 to $500 a night off one girl. And when I went to Vegas, I would say I made a weekly pay in a night. And I was like, "There's no way in hell I'm leaving Vegas."
And you took that. So your business mind at the time, knowing what your father did, knowing your background, you saw the dollar amount you made, and you decided to leverage it and basically just keep going.
No, it was the foundation. When I was in the game, I looked around and seen what people who used to be in the game look like. We were drugged, homeless. The exit strategy wasn't my idea. You got to remember, I come from a business background. So my father just lost a $500,000 home behind a $100,000 deal. So with me having that, now I went to private school and I'm highly educated. I went to several colleges. So when it was time, when my back was against the wall, when they kicked us out that house, when you go from private school, multi-millionaire lifestyle to sleeping in Motel 6, you're not trained for that shit.
No, you're not.
You're not used to that struggle.
You're not. You're definitely not. So
and then my temper wasn't good enough for that. I damn near caught 4 or 5 cases trying to sell dope, shooting at people. So my temper was too bad to sell dope. So I had to go to the pimp game.
So I got a 2-part question now. Speaking of, one, I love how you're not afraid to speak on a background or a past that you no longer do, and I love how you feel.
Yeah, nothing weak about me. Nothing weak about me. Fuck how they take it.
You know what I'm saying? And I love your philosophies in general in terms of a subject to. If you can, for a little bit, could you explain to the listeners here what subject to is and why you're such a fan of it and what you do as far as your business day to day?
Sure. And that's where I left off. Vincent Polisi taught me how to do sub two. And he doesn't call them sub two. His strategy is this. With him growing up in the mortgage business, he works with mortgage brokers with files that people cannot qualify for a loan. Now, these people are cash ready. They have up to 100 grand liquid, ready for a down payment, and they couldn't qualify for a loan. Now, typically, the mortgage broker would just throw those files away. And we're talking about 7 to 10 files on a weekly basis. 7 to 10 files of cash-ready buyers. Now, you go find someone in the mortgage situation where they need a couple of thousand to get out this mortgage and start over. Well, it's a fucking no-brainer. You connect A to B. This person wants a home. This person needs out of a home. And that's how we make our money. The money is off the down payment. If the home is worth $300,000, well, we need $30,000 down. We don't need closing. We don't have to clear no titles. As soon as we get this deed and we take over the mortgage, we're putting the home up on owner finance. Easy qualifications, no credit. And that's the true real estate, because typically those deals net anywhere from 60 to 100,000 per deal. So taking over mortgages, and of course there's a system involved where my sub two deals, 90% have come from divorce or situations of domestic abuse. And when there is emotional wreckage in the home, logic is out the question.
Absolutely.
100% of those homes I've purchased, I've went in and literally everything was still in place. Like they just had an argument or Hiroshima hit. Everything is there. Like the people don't want to have anything to do with the house. It's bad memories. And they practically give them away in divorce situations, not people facing foreclosure.
So when you all of these leads basically came from your I wouldn't call him a mentor, your clashing friend. Basically, he had all these leads. Just for the listeners who's
No. He taught me the strategy. I implement that strategy here. That's a nationwide strategy. I'm in a small area, so these folks. When I first got here, they thought I was a scam because they're so used to a real estate agent doing real estate. I said, no, I'm an investor, full spectrum. I do probate, sub-twos, owner finance. I don't do fix and flips yet because I don't have that credit. I wish I could, and I did have a fix and flip. And you know what? I had orchestrated a fix and flip with a partner in Dallas. And he was actually a brother, a fraternity brother. And he fucked me. He kept all the money. He gave me, I put up 13 grand for the deal to go through. And after a year of waiting for it to go through, I walked away with 5. And I still haven't seen the HUD statement. And I cut him off. I kicked him out the association. And I've always learned that partnerships are end up being like divorces or bad relationships. You start off good and it ends up bad. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
Man, that's beyond true. Like I said, man, every business I've started on my own, I always crash first and crash hard. And usually when I do it by myself. At times, like I would say, like 40% of the time, I tried it with a partner. And when I did, and the shit fucked up, it fucked up everything. And when I say it fucked up everything, man, it's.
And that's why I wanted you to come to the secret meeting we're having, because if we get the Black people together, us, and we know the challenges we have in common, we can come up with some ideas. And I don't want to discuss them on this because this might be public, but the discussions we have on that meeting, that's a secret meeting, we should make an impression on the market.
I know we will, and I can't wait for that. But that's a combo between myself, you, and them. But I will say this though. I will say this. In my experience, it's very seldom, very, very seldom that I do business with a Black man and it goes well for me. And I don't give a fuck about saying it. And that's why we have to want to partner with the vision or the exit strategy that we come up with, not so much each other. Yep. Because I can tell you this right now, and not that nobody else will burn me. Every time I've partnered with a white man, it worked perfectly fine. With Black women, it worked perfectly fine. I just was fucking up. I wouldn't say I was a pimp in that regard. I just had a very, very hard time separating business and pleasure whenever I get around females in that regard, and I combine it, and it always fucks up. That shit that. Let's talk about that. Let's look at that for a minute. Through history, the white man has been the buyer. The Black man has either been the server or the creator of the product. Facts. And then after slavery, we became the creator of the product because they didn't know how to operate the farms and build the shit that they had slaves doing. So we became, and then that's when they started all those bombings and killing towns because of jealousy. We know that history. So if there is a generational buyer, we're thinking big now. There's a generational buyer, and we are a generational product producer. I think we need to think big. I think we need to take these apartments that are empty, get them fully occupied, and sell them to the white man. I think we need to build all these vacant homes, get people in them, and sell them to the white man. White men buy revenue and buy numbers. We create numbers. They understand full business automation. And I don't want to give them too much credit. A lot of these fuckers I've been dealt with are dumb as shit. They just got money. It's not so much giving them so much credit. I'm gonna tell you what I mean. So I remember I saw a post from you. This is where I'm going here. How you said, stop calling yourself a wholesaler. There's a million ways to do real estate, right? So what I was trying to say when I said that was, ideally speaking, like in the hood for the most part, what do we jump and run to first? The wholesale, because it's like easy pickings to get the capital real quick. Easy. So that's kind of where I was coming from, the standpoint where I would show a partner, whatever their race is, a property in the hood, and the first thing they'll say to me is, this property's in the hood, why would I get it? And my retort back would be, don't you know that every single property here is owned by Jewish or Asian people or whatever their background is, but it's not us, and there's a reason why. So if they're buying it, what are we doing? So that's kind of what I was coming from. Very interesting. That's true. That's very true. That's very true. And they look at the revenue. How much is it bringing in a year? Exactly. So it's like this. I know in certain areas they're stopping wholesaling altogether, and it's no coincidence that these areas are mostly Black people or mostly C-minus neighborhoods. I would challenge that. I have petitions. I have videos. I challenge Alan Dom to sit down and talk to me, since he's the king of condos in Philadelphia. I want that mother. And I told you, like I said, they dumb. They're not smart. They got money. Just like the women say there is no ugly billionaire. Well,
there is no ugly person with, there is no dumb person with money, so they say, until you sit down with one of these motherfuckers. They're not smart. They're not educated. See, we got to be educated just to survive. They survive off their skin tone. So when you sit down and you have a conversation with these rich folks and you start discussing strategies and different ways to do shit, oh, you become their teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, and it's weird. And they got all the money. It's weird. So we got to balance it out. If let's say me and you get an apartment building that's half occupied.
Okay.
And I negotiate the deal to where it's paying for itself. We get it on a lease and we'll refinance when the place is occupied at a true value instead of the value we get it at. So now we get it fully occupied, and let's say it's bringing in, I don't know, $30,000 a month. All right, so we're looking at 12 months. What are we looking at? 3 times 12 is 36, 360,000, if I'm not mistaken, 360,000 a year. Now we came in with no money. The building pays for itself, and we're cash flowing it, and it's bringing in 360,000 a year. We could sell that building for whatever we want because the man is going to buy the numbers. We could sell that building for $3 million.
Right.
Because we built it.
But you got what you're saying, like what we're saying all together is convo. When you say these numbers to certain people, it just seems too good or too big to be true because their cap and their mind is already fucked up. So it's the literacy. Like I tell you, they're not smart. So you have to show it to them on paper so they can go show somebody else to tell them it's okay. These people are not smart. If you present it to them, they're not going to comprehend it. And then the mentality that they have is black folks are dumb as they are. That's what they think. But then they have to go take their paperwork to an expert, and that motherfucker be a black guy. Yep.
And the black guy be like, oh shit, this nigga need to be working with me when they look at them numbers. Because we're geniuses. We're just faulted by the media.
Yeah.
You know, we have deep knowledge. We have that Egyptian African knowledge, man. We know the stars in the sky without knowing the stars in the sky. Feel me?
That's not a lie. When we spoke about yesterday or a day or two ago, to my memory, and you mentioned, I had a question about what you said about multiple streams of income, and then you brought it back to it having something to do with the Bible, and I brought up to you a retort stating that, what about the person that says spreading yourself too thin? Because I find myself doing that a lot. So with multiple streams of income, and if we can make a little quick segment, right? This is a Real State of Mind Entertainment. I actually have on my new Kobe Bryant fadeaway tee, go to realstateofmindclothing.com. But back to you. Yeah. Multiple streams of income. Why is it important to you? And why do you disagree with the spreading yourself too thin?
Okay. First, I'd spread myself too thin.
Me too.
First. So I speak from experience on that end. I know what it's like when you're trying to. I made a big post in one of my group chats today. I'm tired of setting these meetings, sharing this education, and it's to no avail. When I can be
me
out,
fucking too, man.
Yeah, and I could be out building something with my son or building something for myself. Now, I think it depends on what we do as a multiple. For example, we might start a clothing company and build a dream team and let it run by itself. We might start a washer laundromat and build a dream team and let them operate it. And that's multiple streams of income. I think that a person shouldn't spread their personal time and too thin to where you are giving all of you to these people or efforts that are not satisfying you. The multiple streams of income, I can't remember the verse, but it was something about taking your bread and spreading it out on several waters and let it grow. I can't remember the verse, but the idea was, when what Vincent Polisi taught me as well, he said, what you gonna do when wholesaling crash? Or what you gonna do when Sub 2 crash? He told me you should have a whole nother business that don't have nothing to do with real estate. He has, his wife does the cooking thing. He has some other shit going on, I don't know. But the guy's at Disney World at least 5 times a week. And if real estate closed, he's gonna be just fine. So this is what he taught me. So I wouldn't spread my personal stuff, man. I'm sorry?
No, I agree with every word stated right there. As far as the example you gave, the Bible reference, the reason why, and the fact that you said like what you do, let's say the wholesale crashes, let's say the fix and flip crashes, let's say buy and hold, you can't fill in your vacancies. You should be doing something that got nothing to do with whatever the fuck that just failed. So no matter what's going on, you always got money coming in. And I can't fucking lie, I have that issue too. As much as I do, I haven't really put the streamline process to the other stuff that had I been doing, that I wouldn't be running into the as much issues as I do. Part of it is because go ahead.
You got to look at it like this. As a minority, majority of us have actually been in the struggle. And I can even use me for an example. I'm getting hundreds of thousands of dollars a year from the pimp game, but I know this is not gonna last. I know it's not. Eventually, the police is supposed to come talk to this bitch, and I'm supposed to go to jail. Eventually, they gonna scare her enough to turn me in, and it happened. It happened. Yeah, I got arrested for the shit. It happened.
How long you did?
They got me on an attempted pimping charge because I kept my hands clean. I moved smart, but they sit me down for 2 years and then told me I couldn't touch the computer for 5 years. Yeah, they banned me from the computer. But as soon as I got off that ban, I went to Facebook and started selling the MCA and Wake Up Now and then now real estate. Because I've always made money from the computer on the illegal side. And I didn't know God was training me for this. Because right now, I'm tired of real estate, man. I'm ready to go buy some businesses now. I'm ready to go get a building, put a business in it, and see if that cash flow cover the expenses and the net gains, and then sell it. I'm on some Jerry Jones shit, man. I'm ready to build a stadium and sell it to AT&T.
I was gonna say a whole different white NFL owner. I was gonna say that the nigga from the Falcons, I forgot his name, but the fact that we both mentioned NFL owners, and I heard that from a lot of billionaires. Grant Cardone. I read this book even like why he buys out businesses that are going out and just makes them better. So what you're saying is actually it's not flying over my head. It's right over my head, and I'm looking at it.
You think like a billionaire too. This is how billionaires think. You know, millionaires think about real estate and property. Billionaires think about businesses. Let's go get this whole mall strip and see how many nail shops and all that we can put in this nail strip, and then show the numbers to somebody else and sell it for 3 times what it's worth. Why are we playing with these small shit? Wasting our time trying to teach these people how to do real estate when we can take what we know and go really do something.
Yeah, and speaking of, I'm no longer in that business of teaching people how to do real estate. I left whatever products and programs I got, but it was fucking me up. And what ended up happening was they started fucking up, and then it's a blame game and shit. So I'm just gonna blame myself. I'll take full responsibility for spreading myself to them, but I'm off that shit, man. It don't make no sense, man.
It's a waste of time, man. You look up and you got, you know, and I tried to make it. I was really into building partnerships, but then I realized partnerships don't last. They like relationships. There is no such thing as a lifetime partnership.
No, we gonna close out soon, but before we do our last couple of questions, you gotta expand on that, man. Partnerships don't last. They're like relationships. Why don't relationships last, in your opinion?
Nobody is the same. Everybody has their own motive, and while we're talking about that, I think it's wise that people should know this when they're starting these LLCs and S corps. I'm addicted too. I got like 7 of these motherfuckers for no reason. I think when you go into a partnership with someone and y'all build a business, before you start making LLCs and S corps and all that, you have to have the business established first, so then y'all can divide what belongs to who. And it's in writing as in a corporate matter. There's the in the charity business, it's the mission statement. In the business world, it's the operating agreement. But that states how the company operates. And if I was to die tomorrow, this is what happens. Same thing with a trust. There's no point in setting up all these things when there's nothing to share or nothing to split up. You know, and I was totally on the other side of that because I was all on the protecting your assets and yada yada yada, but you ain't got shit to protect. So you're doing all this high powered shit, but you ain't got no money.
So speaking
I was doing it. I'm speaking from experience. I'm doing land trust, LLCs, S corps, know all the tricks, S corp, tax breaks, all that shit. But I ain't got nothing in the motherfucker. But I got a few. They got 3 or 4 houses. Ain't nobody finna take that. Nobody want that shit. And they 3 or 4 houses from out here. So out of 3 houses, they probably worth 200 grand. What the fuck am I setting up a trust for? I need to be trying to flip that shit and get some more. Once I get to 1 million, then it might be time to set up for a trust. You know? Well, if I get in a partnership with somebody and we got cash flow coming in on a strong level, then it's time to set up an S corp and an operating agreement. You know, and I can actually afford an attorney to do the shit instead of me doing it myself. You know.
So, if we could, what do you feel any comparisons are without bringing up old hatchbangers or nightmares and stuff like that? Any comparisons to the pimp game, to the real estate game, to any other game you want to delve into, or is there nothing like?
How much time you got? Shit, everything. You talking about the oldest profession, sir?
Explain.
I would even go as far as saying the whole real estate business is based off the pimp game. Yes, the whole business is based off of it. You get a bitch, you sell a bitch.
Yeah.
Now, if your cop game is strong, the bitch will come to you. How strong is your marketing? Do you look like you know what to do? Everything about this game can be translated to the pimp game. That's why I said, how much time you got? I can break it down.
Break it down.
Shit. All right. Okay. Okay. So in the pimp game, you can start from zero and get a bitch and make $1,000 a night. All depends on how good you look. In real estate, it's the same thing. You can wake up with no money in your pockets today and make a good ad and get a deal.
Absolutely. I've done it many times, and sometimes I rely on it too much. Facts.
Now, you can find a bitch from the trailer park, and you can see something in her that nobody else sees. And you go take her and get her hair done and nails done, and there's nothing as bitch that's turned into $1,000 a night hoe. Same thing with houses. You can look at the market and tell where it's going, clean it up, and sell somebody that vision, and they'll buy the house. Same analogy, man. Same. It all depends on how deep your level of understanding is. Because instead of putting a bitch on the internet, you're putting a house on the internet, or you're putting a contract on the internet.
All you're doing is placing a product up for sale and making profit daily or nightly in that situation.
That's right. But the dope game is different. There's an investment involved in the dope game. The dope game would be more like the guy you're selling the house to. He invests in it and flip it. Well, the pimp game is a cop and go game. We copping properties. We copping contracts. We getting deals with no money. We starting from ground zero.
What about the drug dealer that says, I don't make an investment, my connect gives me a front? What do you say to that?
I wish I knew more about the dope game to comment on it, because I don't know nothing about that. I don't know about the front game. You know, I do know that if I go cut my hair, shave, put on some cologne, and dress nice, and start sweet talking to bitch, I might have me a hooker in 3 days. I do know that. So I don't know about the front game. I know the pimp guy to bless me with a bitch that I need. So I feel like there's a real estate God that'll bless me with the house that I need. And whether that's real God or the God of all things. You know?
Estate God. I like that. Okay. No, it's definitely the God of all things. She shouldn't be separated, you know. Good is bad, death is life. Like death is a part of life is a part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is the same in essence, man. In order the sun come down, the moon gotta come up. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know, I don't want people to think of me as the pimp. I'm a Freemason now. You know, that was an old life. Now I'm a Mason. So it's a different ball game, but my business mentality hasn't changed. I won't put a bitch out on the street. I won't never pimp again. I got daughters and shit. You know, and that was just a phase I went through because we lost everything. You know, and it keeps me from going back to prison for shooting somebody, you know, a dope fiend to steal from me. So to keep from shooting a dope fiend and going back to prison, because they don't give a fuck if it's a dope fiend or not. They just see a murder and a black man if it gets free labor out of it. They don't give a fuck who's right or wrong, you know? So before I fell down that route, I used my looks and my gift of gab to pay me. And that's what I did. You know, it was just a back against the wall decision.
You know what? I honestly do the same thing. I use my looks and gift of gab, and that's what gets me across.
Yeah, that's why I said that shit. I was fucking with you that day. That's what about to make me follow you, but he about to have me back pimping. But I didn't want you to take it the wrong way that day. I said, I ain't trying to front on you. I'm saying I dig it. Because these bitches like this. I dig it.
I said I'm one of the most beautiful men in the world. That's
what you fuck about. I said, man, I'm about to follow you, man. You about to have me back out. Oh.
You funny as hell, brother.
All right, thank you. All right, God bless. All right, hold on. They just dropped my chair.
You said you was at the title company now, right?
Okay. See if Dakota grab for you. Well, I can phone. My bad. My bad, brother. I'm here.
You said you was at the title company right now?
No, man. This shit here crazy, man. It's in Dallas. I had a land deal I did back in Dallas, sold a lot in South Dallas, right there about downtown, and it was a $9,700 payout, just small money, you know. And that's why I'm saying that. Ever since I've been in business, they call me weird, but my goal is to do the deal, not to make the money. Sounds fucked up. I'm not money.
No, I
motivated.
agree.
Yeah. So every deal I do, I leave enough meat on the bone. So this was like this dude is supposed to put like a $10 million apartment on this shit. So I only made $9,000 off this transaction. And to be honest with you, I didn't even think the deal was gonna go through. Just to be completely honest with you, when the man approached me I've been working on this shit for like a year. When the deal came in, I threw it to my associates. You know, I got that association. So I let the rookies play with it, see if they can get something with it. And if they don't play with it, I'll come back and look at it. So I came back and looked at it. And I had my partner Ambibula work on it because the bro that was selling it was a Nigerian. And one of my associates happened to be Nigerian. Instant rapport. I said, yeah, man, work with him. That's going to be good for you. Because he ain't done no real estate. So they worked together. And needless to say, it was a $9,700 payout. We closed in September of 2021. However, when we deposited in the bank account, I had my associate, my partner, hey, man, go and open up a business account. You know, we'll be partners on this. I'll make you part of the company. Gave him 33% of the shares of my company because he has good credit and he's a good guy. His name is Ambivalent. Well, when he did that, I think with him being Nigerian or some shit, it triggered something in the bank. And they became skeptical. So needless to say, they cashed the check, but they held the check. So I had to have the title company have Wells Fargo recall the check, but the title company threw me on the back burner. They said, oh, yeah, give us 90 days. So 90 days expired yesterday. And when I talked to them, they act like they ain't even done shit. So I said, okay. So I said, no more boy, being Mr. Nice Guy. I had to put a little tone in my voice. I didn't cuss at him. But when I started talking to him like I really am, oh shit, you know, it make white folks nervous. They've been calling me all morning. So that's why I said I was on the phone with Chase Bank with you, right when you sit that thing. I said, oh yeah, man, the title officer called Chase Bank now. So shit they were supposed to do 90 days ago, you know. And here's what Vincent taught me. And I hate to keep giving this motherfucker credit, but he taught me a lot of shit. He said the first thing people would do is give you the stupid test. What the fuck is that? He said people are trying to see how much you know, man. And if they feel you're stupid, they'll blow you the fuck off. So when you start talking authoritative and using words and you know what you're talking about, and you put people in their place, see, we the real estate professionals. We know the game. And these motherfuckers just close real estate. How dare they try to tell me anything? I'm out here getting this goddamn deal. All you're supposed to do is close it. Don't you question this. I went and talked to the bank and they told you to have the check recalled. Don't you say that they can't do that. You see?
They do always conveniently come up with some shit to effect. It's always something before closing, man. The hardest thing
and then they don't realize they talking to a nigga from the streets. I'm thinking you fucking me. That's how I'm taking it. Even though we ain't in Colombia and it ain't no dope on the table. That's how I feel. Nigga, you got my money. You just ain't gonna give it to me. Trying to see how much I know. And I blame the news and all the stereotypes of black people being stupid. But I'm gonna show you we ignorant too, and we know what we talking about now. Either you gonna do it, I'm gonna call one of these goddamn lawyers and sue your goddamn man. Y'all ain't gonna keep violating, you know.
Man, look, hey, bro. Sincerely speaking, man, because this shit is gonna go on the podcast, whatever, just to get my brain out there. We can't even everything we gotta talk from now on has to be between us and the group we're building. But that being said, just in closing, because like you said so much shit today, my mind is spinning. But in closing, right? In closing, what do you say to the guy or the woman or whomever that's listening to this randomly, has no money, has no nothing, and has nothing but what you had when you were at your worst situation you explained to me privately? What do you say to that person, and how do they bounce back?
Okay, trust in God, trust in yourself, and trust the process. What you're looking at now is not going to make sense to what's going to happen tomorrow. So don't think it's, as long as you're breathing, keep going. Keep going. I know this is not part of this. I lived in McDonald's parking lot before, you know, for a long time with my 2 kids in the back seat and my mother. And they were so ready for.
I got to repeat that for the people that are going through hard times, myself included, everybody. You lived in a McDonald's parking lot with your 2 children and your mother.
Say, and a Cadillac sitting on 20.
And a Cadillac sitting on 20s. Real
loud out STS sitting on 20. Say, you couldn't tell by looking at me I was fucked up. But I was fucked up. And my kids would go, huh? What's that?
And niggas look way too good for that. The handsome man.
Say,
Even
look,
if you
know,
stink, nobody know, man.
You know, niggas flashy, man. So we don't lose that no matter what situation we're in. We gonna shine. You know, that's something black folks do. Even when in slavery, we made that hall good. Even though y'all gave us the intestines, we made that shit work. So we gonna make it work.
I asked my father one time. It was random, like mad long years ago. I said, "Yo, pops," because he always got a suit on. The suit's got like his initials on there. He wants some real life like mob boss shit. I said, "Yo, pops," and real quick, and I said, "Yo, everything we've been through a lot. You made some money, you lost some money, but everything we go through, you always look good, man. You always." Yeah. He looked at me. He said, "It's a lifestyle."
That's right.
Ever since I heard that,
and it's also culture. I would say it's black culture too. We know how to make this shit look good, no matter what we're going through. And even though my kids were getting dressed in the restroom at McDonald's to go to school, we even went as far as making a fake campaign about going on a school trip so we can get some money to eat some fish that day. We got tired of eating pie that day, so we did a fake field trip there, like we was doing it for the school. If I can do that, anybody can make it. I did that, and now I own property, got up to 200 grand in property here, and I'm happy. Even though, if you ask me on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm still on 3. But where I'm from, shit, I'm on 3,000. Because I just come from the parking lot, surviving off 69-cent apple pies, man. To fussing at these folks over my $10,000, nigga. That's a huge turnaround, man. I went from sleeping in the parking lot, bro, drinking 99-cent 2 liters, sharing it with my kids, and getting change out the fucking cup holder to buy 3 apple pies a day. So I can have an apple pie when I pick them up from school. And I ain't got no gas. We don't eat. Go get them. Nigga, I'm talking about the struggle. I'm talking about the nigga at the gas station asked for $1. I'm asking him for $1. Hey, man, I give you a ride if you need. Let me hold $2. I'm asking the bum for money. That's where I was.
There was times, man. Also, you know, we niggas, man. Yeah. On my worst times, niggas said, "Yo, let me get $1." I said, "Bro, how long you been out here?" He said, "Whatever time." I was like, "Bro, you been out here for X amount of hours. X amount of people came here. That means you making $25 an hour. I should be asking you for $20, man."
Yeah, and I didn't have to. I did ask the nigga for $1. Hey, man, do you need a ride somewhere? I know you want to go buy some dope. Let me hold 5. Nigga, that's how I made my money.
What is vibe?
I was an Uber in the hood. I was an Uber for niggas in the hood. I was an Uber for crackheads and shit. I swear to God, bro.
Before Ubers.
No, Uber was on. Uber was popular in the bitch, but Uber wouldn't come to the hood. So I make these little handwritten signs and put them on telephone poles on the routes they walk to the bus stop. Hey, text us on if you need a ride. And now I'm making money like a bitch. In the enterprise right there.
Hey, bro, that's fucking genius, man.
I had no choice. I was sleeping in the gas station at the end of the street, and McDonald's was across the street. Yeah, I go to the gas station, give me some ice in the cup, pour my little soda. That's where I get my 2 liters from. Get my apple pie from McDonald's, go across the street, across the freeway, in the car, and I sit at that gas station. That's where the gas is. I'm on E. This is real life.
My man, I know it's real life, man. I'm feeling the pain in this conversation because, like, a lot of it, you know, we have similarities in our story, remember the struggle and the comeback and shit like that. But for the most part, just the standpoint of like sleeping there with your family, still getting up looking good, and now doing $1 million deals.
Man. Look, I got toys and shit now. I got 3 TVs in the room for no goddamn reason. Like guns everywhere for no reason. I can't complain, man. I didn't mean to come on the camera, but I can't complain right now, man. I can't. My backyard is damn near acres. I can't complain. I can't complain. I'm complaining about my check these folks got, but that's it.
Hey, bro, we are definitely gonna talk. We are definitely gonna build. You are my new favorite person, man. So,
I fucks with you. I fucks with you. For real.
In closing, I wanted you to repeat that line you said about to the person with no money. Even if they heard your story just now and don't get inspired, you know, fuck them. But just
and you know what, bro? I'm glad you said that too, because I was watching Jimmy Fallon, man, and a girl came on there and said she only had $114 to her name, and she flew out to New York, black girl, and they put $100 hold on her car when she got there in the hotel, so she had $14 clear across the country and hoping she get this role. And then she went to breakfast and they took a whole 14. So this bitch went on a roll in an introduction with nothing but a hope and a prayer. And she felt confident. And she was like, no, I got to do this. So, man, and she did it. She became famous.
I done been in, when I first started doing wholesale shit, man, even like 2 years ago, man, you wake up broke, you wake up with money. I was in the airport with no money, no phone is off, still trying, and I still gotta sit there and make a deal happen somehow, some way. and the shit happens. All you
Thank
gotta
you.
do is just take fucking action, man. With no phone, with
There
no
you go.
money, and stuck in the airport.
And see, you know, and to a lot of people who have the spoon in their mouth, that shit sounds like a movie to them. And when that girl told her story, I was like, man, that sounds like me at McDonald's. And it inspired me. I said, even though that story probably didn't hit 100 people, it only took one person. And it was me to hear that. To be like, okay, now I got to tell my story. Somebody needs to hear that shit. Somebody is struggling right now. Somebody need to say, hey, man, it is a better way. Just keep pushing. Somebody need to hear that, man. Somebody need
Stay
to
in
hear
your
that.
real state of mind and stay with your philosophies and keep God first, man.
Yeah. And I've been holding that in for years, bro. I just said something about it for the first time this morning. Been holding it in for years. Yeah, since 2015, I've been holding. No, 14, I've been holding it in.
God is good, man. God is good, man.
All the time, brother. All the time.
Hey, man. Hey, King, man. Bless you and your family. Thank you so much for your time today. Again, this is some public bullshit. It's gonna go wherever it go. But me and you, we always gonna build, bro. Expect a lot of conversation from me, man. I'm gonna talk to you very soon, my guy.
Yeah, send me a